Welcome to another new episode of the Declutter Me podcast with myself, Shelina. I hope you're well and had a lovely week. For me, it's been one of those highs and lows and in between trying to do lots of personal chores. One of them was dyeing this hair from grey back to black. So I've had grey hair since I was 16 and I have to dye my hair every few weeks. And I can't do it myself because I make a mess and I don't want to ruin my beautifully renovated bathroom, which you might have heard about in one of my previous podcasts. So I have to get someone to do it. So I have to book time in a salon, which, considering how little time I have to do anything, it's an ordeal. But the only good thing is that I get to sit still for an hour and be on my phone and do bits of work and stuff and be on social media, and my hair goes back to being this luscious black hair. And if you know me, you'll know it's really hard for me to sit still. But anyway, that's another topic. But I thought that would lead me to a great segue to this episode and also the next one, because there's going to be two parts to this. Can you have it all? I mean, the straight answer, the blunt answer is no. Unless you have a lot of money, less people and stuff in your life, or no, you can't have it all. I don't think you can. You can try to have it all, but there's not enough hours in the day. But I, have had discussions with clients and with friends and with followers in the last few weeks about this all and about the stress that we're all enduring because we're expected to be able to do it all, because we have all these smart devices, we have tools, we have YouTube videos telling us what to do, we have movies, we have books. So there's this high expectation of doing it all, but there's not enough hours in the day. I mean, yes, I know there's 24 hours, but you need to sleep in between all of that. I'm single. Obviously, if you know a cute single guy who's preferably British and lives in Dubai, please let me know, because I am single. And so I don't have to deal with kids and a man, but it doesn't mean I have all the time in the world. I'm working as a businesswoman. I have an expanding team, yay! And in between all of that, I have to do physical jobs, which means I'm not able to do anything else when I'm with clients. I have to then go home, eat, sleep, laundry, look after my cats, look after my house and my car, see my friends, do social media. I'm exhausted just talking about it. And, for many people, including yourselves, if you're listening, you have to look after yourselves, you have your partner, and you have to shag them. You have kids, you have pets, you have household staff, you have to manage the home, you have to work, you have to exercise, you have to bathe. Oh yeah, I forgot I have to bathe as well. You have to eat and cook, shop, meet friends, watch viral Instagram videos, and then eventually sleep. It's exhausting. And there's Netflix programs we have to watch as well because they're viral. I just watched Too Hot to Handle and I don't know why I watched it. I don't understand why I watch this stuff. But anyway, back to the exhaustion. So we're superhuman. We're supposed to be superhuman, and of course we're not. We don't wear capes, and it's not possible to do it all, but we can try. And that's what I wanted to talk about today, about trying to break it down into different categories and giving you ideas of how to manage the various aspects of your life. And hopefully that will help you to not get to superhuman point, but get to a better point in your life where you feel less stressed and less overwhelmed with stuff and life. It's more about mental clutter today. So, this trying to have this thing of doing it all, it can affect you mentally. So I wanted to help you sort that out today. So let's start. All right. So I'm going to break it down into different categories. So there's going to be a few today, then there's going to be a few next week. So let's talk about partners. All right. So you have to find time to talk to them, find time to shag them and give them some loving, and so they feel valued and that you do too. So a good way to do these sort of things is to book a date night, a date night. Book a date night, once a fortnight, once a month. I mean, every week if you can, but schedule it in for a day, like, I don't know, Thursday, because it's not the weekend, but it's close enough to enable you to recover from a hangover if you have it, and it's closer to the end of the week, so you know you're not completely exhausted like you are on a Friday, but kind of, and it would be nice to go out and have a nice meal and chat with your wife or your husband. So do that. And I mean, I always nudge clients when I'm, with them, especially when I'm doing closets, because I'll find outfits and go, oh my God, this is a perfect date night dress. And they're like, we haven't gone on dates for years. I don't know what a date is anymore. We just got kids and house and this and that. I'm like, no, you need to go on a date night every so often. You have to make time for each other. You have to bring back the va-va-voom. Because otherwise it gets stagnant, and then you're just living in this continuous cycle of, mediocrity, I suppose, or daily grind, and that sounds just depressing. Like, no. And weirdly enough, I was watching Date Night, the movie, and that talks about that all as well. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch that movie and then go, need a date night, preferably without all the criminals and all the stuff, but yeah, do that. Anyway, so say to the partner, I think we need a date night, choose a nice restaurant, get a nice outfit from your closet, put some lippy on and get out. You need it. Get a babysitter, get a family member to look after your kids if you can't afford a babysitter, just do something. And you don't have to buy anything new. Like, you don't have to buy a new outfit. Just recycle what you have, because you most probably have loads of gorgeous outfits that you just haven't worn for a long time because you haven't had a date night. And show a bit of chest, whether you're a man or a woman. Show a bit of cleavage, like, let it out, and you go on a date night. Anyway, so that's the first thing with your partners. And also, great, have a date night, that's great, but for the day-to-day stuff, get them to participate in the chores. I see a lot of, especially husbands who come home and they're like, I've been working all day, it's so tiring and stressful. I'm not going to help with setting the table or bathing the kids or looking after the kids or playing with them while you cook or more that. I'm not going to change the nappy. I am a busy man. Like, that is just bollocks. They have to participate in the chores. You bought the house together, or you rented the house together, you had the kids together, you had the life together. You have to share the life together. You have to do the things together. You have to do the domestic chores. They can pick up the vacuum and vacuum the floor. They can bathe the kids and put them to bed. They can feed them. They can even do the cooking every so often, so you don't have to do the cooking every day, unless they're incredibly bad cooks. But if they are, then you can buy them for a birthday present a cooking lesson, so they learn how to cook, so they can help with the cooking as well. But get, your husband or your wife to get their asses up and to help you. It's not, it's not a one-way street and looking after the house. You got the house together, do the house together, look after it together. So that is my top tips for the partners. There might be more. Let me know in the comment box if you think there are more things that the husbands and the wives should help with doing in the house. I mean, if you've got a great routine and it works for you guys, awesome. But this is for the ones who are feeling overwhelmed and are not getting the va-va-voom with their partners. Next, we're going to talk about pets. I have 2 cats, as most of you know, and you might have seen them around somewhere. They were here on the table and making noise before, so I don't know where they are right now. But cats are really easy to look after, right? You just need to, give them food, clean the cat litter, give them cuddles when they want cuddles, because they don't want cuddles often. Well, one does, but the other one doesn't. And, that's it really. And talk to them and just snuggle up to them every so often. Cats are easy. But dogs are more needy. So if you got dogs, you need to make sure, take them for walks, feed them. There's just lots of stuff. Clean their teeth. You have to clean their teeth. You have to take doggy bags with you to pick up the poop. And, and the same with hamsters and gerbils and rabbits. You have to feed them, you have to cuddle them, you have to clean the cage every so often. It's just a little bit too much, you know. Cats are easy. Trust me, cats are great. But, you know, and we, yeah. So we have pets. We love them. It's great for cuddles. But you have to make sure you have the mental and physical capacity to have these pets. So if you want to have a dog, can you take the dog out for a walk, or can you afford to get a dog walker to come during the day when you're working to take the dog out for a walk, because they need to go out for a walk quite often, or do you have a maid who can do it for you? You know, so you have to think about those aspects when having pets. I mean, for me, I have the cats, and I have to have a cat sitter come and look after the cats when I'm on holiday. So that is, I'm account for that in my lifestyle, you know, and when I'm going on holiday, that is something I have to account for. So you have to think about that, not just from a monetary point of view, but from a physical point of view of looking after them on a day-to-day basis. If you get pets because of the kids, ensure they take up, you know, the responsibility of looking after the pets, including changing the cat litter, the cages, the poop, playing with them, you know, feeding them. Teach them how to look after the pets. It's not that, you know, they beg and beg and beg and say, I want a cat, I want a dog, and then they don't do anything about it. Make sure they go out for walks with you. You know, even if they want to be watching the iPad and watching millions of YouTube videos or playing games or, you know, watching TV, like, no, they have to come out and they have to do the work with the pets. You can't just scream and shout that you want a, you know, an animal in your house, but then not do anything about it. So make sure your kids are involved with the pet looking after, because it's not, shouldn't be just something that you have to do all the time. So that's pets. So that's one way of trying to look after them. Get the kids to look after them. So finally, I'm going to talk about food. Can you cook? If yes, do you cook a dish a day? I cook like my mother. So my mum had 4 people to feed every day, and she used to make different dishes every day. Like, well, she'd make a dish which would be then leftovers the next day, but she'd also make another new dish or a veggie dish, which was a lot. But what I do is I cook as if I'm cooking for 4 people, and then I make 2 batches. So one batch goes in the freezer and one batch is in the fridge. And I eat that for a few days, and it can sometimes go on for 3 days, depending on how I feel. So that's, you know, a good way to cook. So cook in batches, cook bigger portions. So if there is, you know, you've got a family with kids, you know, you might cook for 5 people, but make it for 10 people, and it actually saves on costs as well, because you're buying in bulk, like the meat and the vegetables, and you make these huge portions, and then you don't have to make them again. You have this stuff that's in the fridge then to just thaw and heat up, and that's what I do. You know, if I'm working and I have food in the freezer, I'll take that food out of the container, you know, and put it on the side to let it thaw. So by the time I get home, it's thawed, it's ready to just put on a plate and put it in the microwave, and I can eat. Curries are good for making in batches. Also, you know, sauces for pasta. So your bolognese, your arrabbiata, and those kind of things. So make things you can make in bulk, and then put in the freezer, and then you just have to add the carbohydrates to it, whether that's paratha, which I get frozen because I can't be asked to make them, or naan, or roti, and then, or pasta, you know. So think about things like that to help you with cooking and making your cooking life easier. And then I also cook, not cook, I also order on delivery apps. So it's cheaper here in Dubai. We have a huge choice. We are very spoiled here. If you live in rural places like my parents do in Kent, there's less choice, it's not as great, it's not as cheap as well, so it doesn't make sense for them. But when, you know, they come here, I'm like, yeah, let's order on Deliveroo or Cream or whatever I'm using at the time. And what I do as well, of course I buy the fast food sometimes because you just have to have a McDonald's chip and nuggets, but I'll buy from certain restaurants which have curries and rice in the set, so it lasts for 2 days. So that's 2 main meals I have. So that's great, especially when I'm working 2 days in a row. So that I have food ready, it's in the fridge, ready to eat. And what I do as well is I will order on the app when I'm about to leave the house of my client for it to be delivered to at the same time as when I get home. So that's also awesome as well. It does add up, especially if you've got a big family. For me, I'm by myself, so it's not that expensive. But if you've got a family, of course, it's going to cost more money. So, but think of that as an investment on your time. So it saves you, if especially if you're tired, if you've got other things to do, maybe once a week, do that as an option of ordering from a delivery app or going to a restaurant instead of cooking. So try that out. Another thing that people swear by, a lot of clients have a Thermomix, which I have looked at and thought about getting, but it's a ridiculous amount of money for a single person. But it's like every person I know who's got a Thermomix loves this thing. They can create a whole meal using this machine, and it's also easy for the maids to use or the cooks to use. So it's just an amazing machine. So if you can afford to get one, then get it. The same with rice cookers, slow cookers, and any other contraption that helps ease the time for cooking. I had a rice cooker. I don't eat that much rice, and I couldn't actually make rice properly in the rice cooker, which I know is a complete disaster because it's supposed to help you. But there's something about me and rice and cooking it that is just a fail, whichever method I use. And I got a slow cooker last year, and I have not had a great time with my slow cooker. So I am going to give it to my mum. She's going to test it out when she comes here, and then if she likes it, she's going to take it. So these things don't work for me. I'm old school. I have a Le Creuset pot that I use for cooking, and I love it. And that's my cooking utensil. So we'll see what works for you. But Thermomixes seem to be amazing. People make cakes, they make sauces, they make children's food and purees and stuff. So, if you can afford it, get something like that, and it will help lift the burden of cooking a lot of things, and it's quicker as well. And meal plans. Let's talk about meal plans, because there are millions of them out there with these yummy mummy bloggers. If you're stuck with what to cook, check out the meal plans on these bloggers and find ones that suit your family's lifestyle and what you eat and what kind of cuisine you like eating. And then don't cook a different dish every day, because that's just too much. It's too tiring to have to cook and then clean all the dishes every day. So find about 5 to 10 recipes and then rehash them every few days. I mean, that's what our parents did. My mum used to make the same sort of curries every day, and we loved them. Like, we still do. I'm happy if my mum makes her chicken curry every week with aubergine curry as well, because it goes really well with this chicken curry. So your kids will remember that. They'll remember these certain meals. They won't remember that you made 50 different types of food in a month because of these meal plans. Just make a few of them, and you can always change around the meal plans to create this meal plan for yourselves, and you can have like a meal plan for 2 weeks, so the same food for every 2 weeks, and it just makes your life so much easier. So check them out. There's so many out there, and there's YouTube videos, TikTok videos, Instagram videos of these people making these meals. So find ones that are easy and that you can work for you and your family, and that will get to less fussiness of the kids. So many kids are fussy now, so find stuff that will be less aggro for you. And the key thing is to not complicate your cooking life. Like, it has to be. I love cooking, except for baking. I'm rubbish at baking, but I find it therapeutic listening to music and cooking for half an hour. And if I wasn't exhausted from my work, I would do it more often. But yeah, do it because you enjoy it, not because it's a chore. If it's a chore, get someone else to do it, or get a delivery app. And talking about getting someone else to do it, here there's a thing, like you can get chefs or cooks, there's more cooks, come to your house and cook food, especially Indian food. So they have that in Dubai and in Satwa and Karama, that you can get these cooks to come to your apartment or your villa and cook food for the day or for 2 days, and then they'll cook various dishes and dessert, and it's really great, and it's not a bad price as well. They have more and more of these options around the world, and I've seen it in the UK and also in the USA, especially people are looking at new ways to make income. So have a look at that and see if there's a cook nearby that can cook the food that you love eating and can cook it for you. And all you have to do is just buy the food and then they'll just cook it. And talking of buying food, use those online shopping things. So you have a shopping list and you just choose the food you want for the week or 2 weeks. A lot of people here use a company called Gibson's, and they just buy all their vegetables and meat. I use it every so often because I don't use that many vegetables and stuff to justify buying online all the time. But see what you can buy on these things, and if you have a big family, it does help to buy online every week and get it delivered to you. That saves you the ordeal of going to the supermarket every week. And then if you are single like me, living by yourself, if you can't go to the shops every time, you can order on delivery apps now. So there's these InstaShop type places where they'll come, you just order on what you need for the day and they'll come and deliver it. It's great. You have to do it like an hour or two beforehand, but you can do that as well. So everything I'm saying, use technology, use the resources you have, the people you have in your vicinity, and use them so that it makes your life easier. So and with these online apps, for shopping, you can often just click on the things you've bought before and buy them again. I use Amazon to buy my laundry stuff and my pet stuff. So with the pet stuff, I have the saving thing, and it comes every week. The pet food for my cats comes from Amazon. So I don't even have to think about it now. It just comes and it's great and it's done. So, if you have certain things that you're going to use up every week, every month, whatever, then you can order it from apps like Amazon, and so that you don't even have to think about it. It'll just get delivered to your door. So these are my top tips for today. So this is part 1. Next week we're going to talk about kids, which is going to be massive, household stuff, laundry, and anything else that comes to mind. So if you have any categories you think I should talk about to help you to not have it all, but to make your life all the much... Oh, that doesn't sound right. To have an easier life, then leave a comment. So if you think, there is an area in my life where I'm supposed to be able to do it and I can't do it, leave a comment and we'll talk about it next week in part 2 of the podcast. So let me know. I hope you found this useful today and that I didn't hopefully go on off tangents. Obviously I am right now. I didn't go off tangent too often, but if you loved it, spread the episode to your friends and family and leave a review, because that would be really helpful. And if you'd like more tips and advice, please follow us on social media. You can find me on all the social media apps at DECLUTTRME. And obviously, if you don't want to miss the next weekly episode, press subscribe. Thank you for listening as always. I love it. I love hearing your comments. Thanks to the ladies who told me that my nose was not big and it was fine last week. I really do appreciate it. But anyway, thank you so much. And I hope you have a lovely weekend and I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye.